What up? It's at St. Lauren 57, sober, celibate, and saved. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, so it's been a minute since I made a video. I've been super busy, focused, and just working on me. I finished my celibate recovery testimony. I got it all typed out and printed today, so I'm really excited to be able to deliver that tomorrow. And I'm even more blessed because I have a lot of people that don't even partake in recovery or partake in maybe Christ. They have whatever their own beliefs, and they're willing to take the time out of their day to come support me. And to, I think a lot of people know. Well, I'm just really grateful because I have a lot of people in my life, especially like this program, St. John's program, is my everyday life. And I'm so grateful that people really love me here. Like my friends and quite a bit of the staff, but there's a handful of staff that just mean, like, besides my care team, alongside my care team, but there's a handful of staff that I'm really close to, I really bond with, and just their love and support. Like, they pour a lot into me. They cheer me on. They want nothing but the best for me, and I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything other than just be my authentic self. And I don't think I've, besides when I was working at Hard Rock and Cash Creek, and when I was like in high school, like my friend groups that I had made, my friends have always poured lots of love into me, and I'm just so, it's a blessing to be able to reconnect with my reconnect with myself, to have these like authentic and like pure, genuine like relationships, right? Speaking of relationships, so today is Thursday. I did do I went to my DV class. We were supposed to do one of the destruction exercises, but the class kind of took another direction. But it was really great, right? And so yeah, I've been busy this week. I did sit in on a class that I've already completed the core classes here a long time ago, but I'm trying to be on my feet more. I'm trying to dial in on my physical health right now. I'm trying to dial in on my unhealthy relationship with food, because just like indulging in substances, indulging in unhealthy eating habits makes the results are not healthy. The results are not, it doesn't make me happy. Like, I might get instant gratification from eating something, or that feeling of being full, but inevitably it like hurts my body, and because I have body dysmorphia, so when if I have to be really mindful, but anyway, so I'll get more to that later. But it's crazy because yeah, I've just there's just I'm really blessed that I get to have this time to really do the work on myself, because there's never been a time in my life that I was receptive to, and that I had the knowledge and self-awareness of what destruction I'm doing to myself, because I'm carrying other people's weight, and I'm carrying like trauma, right? And so like I said, I was sitting in this class, and it went over the love languages, right? And the facilitator, he gave me the paper, and I was like, oh, I did this already. He's like, well, do it again, maybe it'll be different. Because it doesn't matter if I am there or not. I just was like, oh, I might as well be productive. I'll sit in on this class. And I have read that book about the love languages, and I think it's really important to know. And so anyway, so I do this love language test score, right? And of course, it still comes up as physical touch being my love language, right? And it's always a tie between like quality time and acts of service, right? So that was, I think that was Monday or Tuesday that happened, that I was in that class. So there's that piece, right? And just as the week has gone on, and as I'm writing my testimony, as I'm sitting in AA Wednesday night, and as I was sitting in class tonight, I just kind of had lots of time to kind of do a little bit more reflection, a little bit more digging in myself, and just a lot more connections connected. And I realized that physical touch is not a healed version of myself's love language. I have had a very unhealthy concept of sexual relations because I had a very unhealthy self-esteem. I have a very unhealthy core belief of what I have to bring to the table to be for someone to stay, for someone to, I don't know, because I would say that I perform probably all of the love languages. Like when I love somebody, this has only happened once. And when I really love somebody, like I will be somewhere and I'll see something, and that, like, I will always think of that person, and just the smallest things, right? Like that's the best way when you really care and love somebody, and you just see something. It's not their birthday, it's not something, but you're just like, oh my God, they would totally, like, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, but then also acts of service. I love to be a part of, I love to help. A physical touch, obviously, but anyways, I'm getting off track. The point is that I realized that, and it's all because I didn't have the self-awareness. I didn't know the deep-rooted issues that I had within myself. I did not know, like, I've never had the time to be alone like this. Like, I'm not alone. I'm in community every single day, but I'm not taking care of anybody. My whole entire life, I have taken care of somebody. I have thrown myself into friendships, and you know what I'm saying? Like I threw myself in as a mom, and I ended up, in relationships where I'm taking care of these men, and I'm taking care of the home, and I'm being the financial provider, and then I'm just doing, like, I'm constantly taking care of somebody, and I've never had this much time to myself, by myself, with myself. And, something I realized is I really internalized a lot of, like, I'm such a empath, and I think from a very young age, it was just like, oh, let's just make people happy. Let's fix the problem. Like, let's get rid of the tension. Like, what can I do? Like, a people pleaser in me, right? And so when people would do things, like, I would severely, like, internalize other people's moods, other people's choices, other people's actions. Like, I really made a lot of things all about me. Like, I just, and this ties in with the love languages, right? And I'll get to that. But like, I really victimized myself. Like, I felt like a victim a lot of my life because I yearned to be loved so bad. And when I was a teenager, it definitely was with my friends, right? Like, when that typical teen BS kind of stuff goes on, like, I would so hard, like, internalize it because, like, my friends meant so much to me. Like, I didn't have any love in the home. Like, there wasn't a parent. Like, I didn't have somebody who had, like, this, you know what I'm saying? So, this is why as I got older and when I started dating men, like, I just wanted somebody to love me. Like, why isn't anyone wanting to do, like, you know what I'm saying? And so, and maybe you don't know what I'm saying, but I'll get there. And so what I realize is, like, because of recovery and because of God, when other people do things, it's not about me. Like, other people's bad choices, other people's mistakes, when other people lash out, when when somebody else's actions affect me, like, it's not about me. Like, being cheated on was never about me. There's something going on with that other person. It's not that I'm lacking anything. That is on some, just like being abused, being disrespected, being left, being abandoned. Like, when I was with men who couldn't hold up their end of the bargain, like, you know what I'm saying? There's something going on with them in their life to where they can't hold a job, or, you know, why maybe they fall into their addiction, or maybe, you know, like, but it just was so hard for me to just not have someone completely encapsulate me in their life, and not necessarily like in a unhealthy, like, toxic way, but just to have somebody, like, and maybe too, maybe also, because obviously, like, and that's also something too, is, where was I when I heard this? I was watching something on Instagram, and this guy had said, um, you know, how much when we love somebody and we break up, or there's a heartbreak, and you are so hurt and you feel like that you will never find that love again. The thing is that that love that you felt, that feeling, that was all you. You manifested, and you had these strong feelings because you loved that person. It had nothing to do with them. It had nothing to do with the fact that you won't ever have this again because you're not with that person. That's not how it works. Wherever I go, the love that I have, what I felt in my last relationship, that will come again. Like, sometimes when we break up, it just is so soul crushing. Like, that's the thing is, like, some people are like, oh, I'm never gonna find that again, but the only reason why that relationship meant so much to me is because I loved that person. It was how I felt about them. It was because I loved them. And it doesn't matter, like, so when I meet somebody again and I fall in love with them, all of that and more will be there. And obviously, it will be reciprocated the next time because I obviously just, I will be healthier and God will be bringing that person. It won't just be me going out there trauma bonding and, because I do tend to make things all about me. How much can I do for them? What can I show them? What all can I give them? And, when you're doing that with people who are broken, are struggling, aren't ready, that's suffocating. That is absolutely probably suffocating and difficult for somebody who is absolutely not ready. And I'm setting myself up for failure and I'm making it all about me. Whereas, when the real love really happens, it will be reciprocated. You know what I'm saying? Someone will be there in the struggle with me and they won't want to leave me alone. But anyway, so that's when I was listening to this guy talk about that, I started thinking about the love language test in my score. And I'm like, man, there's lots about me that when you love someone, or especially, just what I love to love on the person I'm with. I love to do things with the person I'm with. I love to share my life with the person I'm with. I love to bring them everywhere. I love to share all my hobbies with them. I love to learn about them. I want to be so involved, but I also think about them all the time. And I always want to make sure Father's Day or birthdays or just you are special, Chris, whatever, there's so many things, that's the love that I bring, right? So as I'm looking back at this love language test, and I'm like, man, what did physical touch ever do for me? What did physical touch ever really do for me other than me just being in this euphoric, loving, because of the love that I had, because of how I just wholeheartedly love somebody from the inside out, intimacy, how intimacy is something that comes naturally when I love somebody, right? But what did physical touch do for me? You know what I'm saying? Especially if it didn't mean anything that I got pregnant and had to have an abortion and had to do that by myself. What did it mean? And this isn't just the last relationship, but this, just in general. But what did it mean when, because I've had several men, they all, whether it was physically or emotionally or through, just the not respecting the relationship. What did physical touch do for me? Nothing. Because intimacy is what I create, right? It's something loving on somebody from head to toe is so important to me because that's the love, that's the love I want. I know what it means to want to be bare naked and comfortable and have somebody look at you like you are the only person in this world, and to not just lust, but to love on every part of you, every flaw, every imperfection, but to love you so much that it's not just, it's skin deep. Like, it's not just skin, you know what I'm saying? Like, to just, it's not just because of your physical appearance, but because of this love they just have for you, that it just is something that comes so naturally. But that's something that I bring to the table. That's not what they bring to the table. These are because of my feelings for this human, right? And I thought about, like, what actually would make me feel loved? And I don't really care about gifts. Like, gifts from the relationships I've been in have never, and I can say there was one, there was one relationship I was in, but I've just, of course, I want to be. It would be so great to have someone throw a surprise birthday party for me. It'd be so great for someone to actually want to celebrate me as a woman and as a mother. It'd be so great to have somebody who would actually want to make Christmas special for me, or somebody would want to make who actually want to celebrate our anniversary. Somebody who would actually want to celebrate Valentine's Day. Like, somebody who would just want to celebrate us and me, and if someone loved me that much, they just thought I was so special that they just want to just something, like they just thought about me. Like, it's the thought that counts for me. Like, I've never been a materialistic person, so even if someone just like wrote, like, made me a card, like made me something, like did something, like something that I could, something that just something that weighed on their heart to share with me, and they gave that to me, that would mean the world to me. Like, that would be so special to me, right? But it's not important because, I don't know, especially when you are primarily a single mother and you're just, doing things like that for your kids, like, you fall to the wayside, and it just doesn't even matter anymore. Like, it's not that serious. But, and yeah, I think words of affirmation would be nice, right? But the thing is, like, of course I want praise. Like, I've been so destroyed my whole life, and like victimizing myself because of this destruction, and people pleasing because of this destruction, that, yeah, like, it would be, but at the same time, I think praise is still a little bit uncomfortable. Like, compliments are still a little bit uncomfortable. So I don't know, that's not really that serious for me. But what would show me that somebody loves me? Quality time. I felt like, and this is deep rooted, but this is really what makes me feel a part of. Like, when somebody wants to share a memory with me, when somebody wants to teach me something, when somebody wants to just sit and laugh and talk and listen, like, when somebody just, like, wholeheartedly wants to share moments with me, like, there's something that they really want to do and they can't help but want me there by their side to share that. Like, quality time. That is what would make me feel love. But I think number one, that would be number two. So my two love languages. Acts of service. I think acts of service wholeheartedly would show me that's how I would receive love the best, is by acts of service. Because as hard as I've worked, as alone as I've been, and as much weight as I've carried, it has been so incredibly rare to have anybody else help take the weight off my shoulders. It has been so incredibly rare for anyone to step in and assist me. Like, I've always been that person. Like, if I see something, I will do it. Like, I will assist it anyway, And so I think for me, doing the work and healing and getting down to what is my authentic self, what do I like, what is love actually, what does a healthy love look like to me? Like, how would I be able to receive a healthy love? What would that look like? Acts of service. Acts of service. Like, seeing that, like, I just went and get all the groceries, helping me carry the groceries, helping take out the trash. I already, cooked, so maybe you're doing the dishes, or maybe I'm coming home from school or work, and so you cook, and then I'll do the dishes. Maybe it's been a long day. Maybe I just took the kids to their dad, so, maybe, like, I come back from dropping them off and, like, put a bath for me. I love to take baths, so put a bath for me. Or, like, you see that, like, I don't know, the sliding glass door is broken. Fix, you know what I'm saying? Like, for someone to help me to take care of my responsibility priorities. Like, if someone to see that my load is heavy, but who is going to be able to swoop in and be 10 steps ahead of me? Who is going to think about me that much to be able to assist me with the things that I need the most? And what do I need the most? What do I care about most in a relationship? Partnership. That's what I care about. That is, like, probably, like, top 3. Like, faithfulness, communication, teamwork, partnership, and I think intimacy is so important, but I mean, that's a fine line for me, I'm realizing, because intimacy and physical touch have been blurred because of the way that I love people. That line of intimacy and physical touch has been blurred because I don't think I've been able to give it to anybody who's been able to receive it and know that I'm not just having sex. Like, I am loving on your body, and I am partaking in something incredibly special and intimate, and just only you will receive this, and I'm only thinking and going to give this to one person, and it's not even just about me. It's about, like, the pleasing, just, and not even just pleasing in a sexual way, but just, like, loving on somebody so they can be their most authentic and their most comfortable, and to know that everything that you see in the mirror that you might not like is something that I absolutely cannot live without. Like, that chipped tooth, those rough hands, you know what I'm saying? Those fucked up nails, the scars on your head, you know what I'm saying? That stupid walk. Or, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there will be things that someone is so insecure about, but there will be something that I absolutely could not live without. Something that you might see in yourself that you absolutely can't stand or want to change or have ever been belittled about, but it's something that I absolutely cannot live without, So, acts of service and quality time, like, and I think that comes from childhood. Like, I never had a special one-on-one relationship with the adults that raised me, right? Like, I don't have that relationship with either. Like, there's never been a time where, I mean, like, the kind of, like, the friends that I have and the relationships they have with their moms and the relationship that they have with their dads, like, no, that's never been a safe place. That's never been something that is, you know what I'm saying? So, and I just feel like I got lost in the background. Like, and so quality time, like, somebody going to engage in an activity that they love to do and want me to be a part of it. Like, somebody who wants to spend their leisure time, like, by their own choice, with them initiating that activity, wanting to spend that quality time. Like, and so it was just crazy that when I did that initial I did that initial, I've done that quiz a lot of times, right? In the past. And then I did it when I was in the class. But it's crazy how he was like, oh, do it again. And maybe it'll be different. And it wasn't different. But I also didn't have the knowledge I have now. And, you know, the one thing I can say alongside, you know, seeing what it really looks like what would it really look like to me? Like if someone really loved me, what would that really look like? Like not what it looks like when I love somebody, and not the excuses and not the what if, but if somebody initiated things on their own without me having to lead, what would that look like? Like, how could I trust that to know that that was real and not only what I was bringing to the table? But also, when I think about like how I victimized myself a lot of my life, and it's because like, I didn't have a lot of self-worth because I put a lot, like, this last couple years I really fell apart. I really fell apart because somebody else's actions determined what my worth was. Somebody else's actions made me like question myself every single day. Like it's because of me. Like it's because of me. Like I'm not this enough. I'm not that enough. And then why won't they do this with me anymore? Or what am I missing? Like what did I do? And I learned other people's shit is their shit. It has absolutely nothing to do with me. Like, the things I went through as a kid, I don't think they were intentional. It's like when you only have a certain amount of knowledge, right? I mean, it takes a lot to get to where I'm at. It takes a lot of reflection in time. I'm 36 years old, and I see the cycles that I have repeated. I see the damage that I've done. I've seen the bad parenting I've done. I've seen the bad partnering I've done. I've seen the bad friending I've done. But putting all of my worth in other people's shit is not how it goes. You know, and it goes right alongside with, forgiveness. Like I'm so grateful that I have a relationship with God who's given me grace and given me mercy and loves me where I'm at. And no matter what I do, he's always going to be there to cheer me on and to pick me right back up and to be there right where, you know what I'm saying, right where I need him. And I've never had a parent like that. I've never had a parent like that who just, you know what I'm saying, is allowing me to go through the motions to figure it out. He's got his own, game plan, and he's just waiting for me to be ready to follow that. But he's given me the freedom to go about life, but to constantly be there for me if I would just call on him. If I would just call for help, he would be there. And so, alongside forgiveness is having that understanding that I have hurt people. I have hurt, like my kids unintentionally because I was hurt. Like when I would be stressed out and I'm yelling and I am not giving that quality time to my kids because I just want to, get them settled and say if it's one of those days where I need to just lay in bed. Say it's one of those days where I'm rushing our bedtime routine because I need to be alone. Because I victimized myself because of other people's shit. And because I didn't know how to separate myself, I in turn then put that shit onto my kids. And of course it'd be easy, it was easy, like, going to the pool or having them outside, but those times where I am way too emotionally distraught and I feel empty because I'm not, what did I do? It's my focus, there were times where my focus was not enough on my kids. I was just wanting love so bad, wanting something to work so bad, wanting a family so bad. And it really, I repeated history. And, it's made me lose a lot of quality time with my kids, and we don't get that back. And it's made me completely disconnect from my authentic self. And it's made me focus on things that don't really matter when someone really loves you, you know? And I'm just blessed to have the knowledge. I'm blessed to have the education. I'm blessed to be able to to have rigorous honesty with myself so that I can share what I'm learning, because I'm not the only one who feels this way. That's the whole point of me sharing my testimony. That's the whole point of me making this YouTube channel, because I am not the only human being that has felt this way. I'm not the only human being who has suffered childhood trauma. I'm not the only human being who's domestic violence. I'm not the only human being who has gotten a DUI. I'm not the only human being who has put their children, you know what I'm saying? And compromising situation. I'm not the only person who has, you know, um, put too much energy in relationships versus their home. I am not the only one who has lost a job. I'm not the only one who has crashed a car. I'm not the only one who has fallen off. I'm not the only one who has relapsed. I'm not the only one who has been in addiction. I'm not the only one who has made mistakes. Like, I'm not the only human being who has gone through life facing these things at all. And if it weren't for the classes, if it weren't for the people, if it weren't for, and it's so difficult. It's so difficult, but what I can say is I'm excited for what the relationship with my children will look like when we have a little bit more normalcy, when my son will accept wanting to see me, or however I have to navigate that just to get some counseling. Whatever it is, I'm not sure yet. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But at this point, I do the best. I make the decision to do the best I can every day. And maybe I don't make it, but I wholeheartedly have the intention of making the best choices I can every single day. And all I can do is keep recovering and keep looking inward and keep becoming healthier, so that, like, because one day my kids are going to be right, maybe right where I'm at, but I've already got not right where I'm at, but either way, one day my kids are going to be young adults and they're going to be living their own life, and life is going to happen on life's terms, and they're going to need somebody who will be real. They're going to need someone who will be authentic. They're going to need someone who will share, and they're only going to trust the advice of somebody who is willing to be real and authentic, and they're only going to trust somebody who is willing to share their experience in order for them to look at them as a real human being, and to be able to be willing to even consider the suggestions that are being given by this adult. Because I know I never respect adults. I never respect anyone who's trying to come at me and tell me something that they are not even, if they don't have any sort of life experience, and if they just want to control me instead of support me and mentor me. I was not going to listen at that age. Especially as a young teenager, young adult, I was, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's where people gain respect, is when you are willing to share your authentic self, especially with kids. If you are willing to share your authentic self, if you actually, like, are walking the walk and talking the talk, like, if you actually know what you're talking about, that's who they're going to come to for advice. That's who they're going to come to. Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? And if I keep walking the walk and talking the talk and walking the walk and bettering my life and turning it around, like, I will regain the trust and I will regain the respect of my children, especially my son at some point when he, cuz yeah, when he's able to see from a different perspective through a different lens and you know, especially when life starts lifing and they need someone to talk about it or you know what I mean? And so I do look forward to the renewed relationship and my renewed respect for the fact that I am a mother and the fact that should have, besides me prioritizing myself and having have a healthy self-esteem and have a healthy self-worth and thinking about what lacked in my childhood that made me go down the path I went. And even though my relation with my kids is different, I still definitely reenacted the same things. Like there were still times I could imagine my children could just see me so distraught, so distracted. And all they wanted to do was cuddle up and spend time with me. And now, I don't know, I don't know if I'll be able to cuddle with them like that again. But I see, the love I have for my children is so like, I'm a loving and nurturing mother. Regardless of the mistakes that I've made, I've always loved on my kids and hugged on my kids and partook in activities with my kids and taken them to have experiences and been involved and present and in their life. It wasn't like, go outside and I don't fucking care what's going on. I'm not even going to really listen, to where you're going, and I'm not really going to care. And you'll just come back at a certain time, because that's how my childhood was. No one knew what the fuck I was doing. No one cared. And I didn't want to be home. But then I'd go to my friends, and my friends, like, we're hanging out with their moms. We're hanging out with their dads, with their siblings. And so I can imagine that there are some things that I have done that have repeated that cycle, or being kind of a tyrant parent like my father was, and do what I say, don't do what I do. And that's inevitably, that's a huge mistake. Because, we just have to sit. There's nothing more important in life than being healthy and being able to set a good example for our kids. I don't want to set my kids up for failure. I don't want my kids to think that, I was always pretty much real with my kids. Like I would tell them what was up. Like we would have, like I never had conversations with my parents. Like me and my kids have conversations, like, so they know I'm a real human being. And so I just don't want to set them for failure. And I can't do anything about the past, but I can most definitely have the awareness and the knowledge to do something about my future. And in our future together. And so that's why I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing and keep sharing what I learn, because I'm not the only one. Especially if I've been constantly in relationships with people who are just as broken as me, I am absolutely not the only one. There's not a single event that I've been through. There's not a single class I haven't taken where there's not something that I've benefited from. And honestly, I feel like a lot of people would benefit from a lot of these things, and nobody, and for some people,